Simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that.
It's
not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years.
So, first off, shout out to Lewis Howes for being able to interview Kobe. But simple math, Moose. Simple math. I want you to start this one off.
Yeah. It's like you think of a time on task, right? How much time you spend really focused on doing the thing that you enjoy or something that you want to get good at. Of course, we know about the 10,000 hour rule. And I think in a slightly different way, this is what Kobe's alluding to. It's like, if you do something only twice a week for an hour and a half, but I'm getting up, and one of the things that he prided himself on was, getting up early in the day, starting his days at 4 a.m., so that he can practice multiple times throughout the day. He can practice 3 or 4 times, where the average person can maybe practice 1-2 times max. So think about, you're practicing an hour and a half, I'm getting in a 10-hour workday. I'm nearly, quadrupling the time that you're putting in toward mastering one particular thing. So I think Kobe's really looking at it from a different perspective here and saying, if you want to be great at something, just take a simple math, process to it and say, well, how much time are you spending looking to master this one particular thing? And let's see what's really coming out from behind it. So, I like how he starts it off and simplifies it this way. And he, in a way, is showing, again, shout out to the flight assessment, but in a way, he's showing and alluding, one of those characteristics that lets the people know, like, hey, I might be, this style right here because I am doing the math on this. So, that's interesting.
Yeah, I would really say that, and it goes back to last week's episode with Dr. Dre, with the whole, he worked forever and pretty much took 2 weeks off, right? I think going back to that is, if you're trying to reach a certain kind of level, we're not asking to do it 24/7. We're not asking, to spend 12 hours a day, this, then. But there should be a point that every day you should be sharpening your tools. Like every day you're learning something new. Every day you're working on mastering something, right? And it always depends on how great you're trying to be. Maybe you're just trying to be great for that season, right? Maybe you're trying to be great for a decade. Maybe whatever you're trying to do, like maybe you're just trying to be great for this one thing, like this one role. So I got to do enough. But I think depending on the level that you're trying to be in, like you have to dedicate a certain amount of the day to that. I think each of the people that we have gone over has said they work on it every day.
Yeah.
I think once they reached a certain point, they may have went back a little bit, just chilled out for a second and then went right back. But if you, and you would know this more, there was like, how, like if you read a certain amount of books per year, you would have, like pages per year, you would have this amount of books or this, that, and the third, right? Like, it just depends on the dedication. It just depends on if you're trying to be great or if you're, trying to be the opposite of that. I know for those who follow Gary Vee and things like that, he was big on like, until I reach a certain status, I didn't take weekends off. Shout out to David Shands. He was like, I didn't celebrate my birthday until I reached a certain point. So at the same time, there has to be a level of sacrifice for what you're trying to do, how great you're trying to be. For me, I'm not trying to be average. For Moose, I doubt he tries to be average. So there's certain things that we do every single day, right? And even on the last episode, I was like, man, maybe even though I do it every day, maybe I need to do it a little bit more intentional with a little bit more purpose. Maybe I got to in on this hour do this and that instead of doing what I did before, right? Making the adjustments. So, what I love what Kobe said, and clearly he was talking about basketball and things like that, but if we look at his status of being one of the best basketball players out there, you have to break down that formula. You have to break
Yeah.
down how did he get there. And if he's saying, yo, you know what, I'm telling my kid, because that question was more for his kid. Like, what are you telling your kids as far as the game and how to get as great as you? He told his kid, like, yo, for at least a year, let's work on the game, 1 or 2 hours a day. And
Yeah.
imagine what that can do for your game. So if you take that same theory, right, and maybe 1 or 2 hours is too much for you. So let's try 30 minutes on
Right.
anything that you're trying to be great at. So if you're trying to be great at your fitness, okay, do that, and it doesn't necessarily mean like, and when I think about Kobe, like, I don't think even though he probably was, I don't think he was in the court every single day. I think he was studying film. He was exercising. He was then shooting the ball. There was something every single day that had to deal with basketball. Not always the physical standpoint, not always the mental standpoint. There's different things that you can turn into your routine that still gets you working on whatever that is for that time period. So, what are you starting from? Are you at least starting from 10 minutes a day? 20, 30 hour, maybe you'll dedicate, if you OD, you're like 4 hours. Okay, cool. But what is that thing for today that you're saying, I'm dedicating this to sharpening my tools to become that legend, to become the greats, to become, and if that's not you, if you're like, Nicky, I'm cool with where I'm at, or I'm
Right.
cool once I reach this level, then hey, this is not for
On
you.
you.
I'm just, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
And
I
I
mean,
think that's why somebody like ET would confidently say, "Yo, you'll never catch me." And I think it's because there are people out there who also pursue different things. Whether and rightfully so. Like, I understand the mentality, because I can't say that at least there wasn't a period of time where I thought that way too, where it's like, man, well, if I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this as a plan B.
yeah,
And you understand why people always say, well, focus on one thing. Because if you split your energy, you're also dividing your time, or possibly doubling the amount of time it would take you to get to that level of breakthrough, or that opportunity where you could finally, spark that piece that you want. So it's like, I like how it's simplified from that process, because now you can really look at it like, man, take an inventory of your amount of hours, like you said, even if it's 30 minutes, but at least at 30 minutes, 5 days a week, there goes whatever, 2.5 hours or whatever it is. So yeah.
but who told us? Here's a good question. And I believe in the recharge. I get it. But who told us, like, we got it Saturdays and Sundays? Like, who told us that?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know. Like, yeah, it's got to be somebody who came up with the calendar and was just like, you know what? Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Because I even
But I do
know.
think part of it could be because of religion, like, Sunday
Yep.
being a religious day, so I can get that. Saturday, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, because I'm like, even as some entrepreneurs, they take the gas off real quick on the weekends.
Yep.
Some. I'm not saying all. This is so I don't want to hear in my comments, Nicky, you ain't talking about me. You don't know it. Listen, chill out.
You don't know my
Calm
life.
down. It's not about you. Okay? If it's
Yeah.
not about you, it's not about you. You are a rare form. We appreciate you. We love you. That's for you. However, let me stop
Look at
it.
that. Round of applause.
However, there are some that is like, let me chill. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying, where did that habit come from? That's what I really want. And I don't think you have this answer, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
where did
yeah.
this habit come from? Where it's like, all right, Saturday, yo, what are you doing Saturday? I'm working. What are you talking about? I'm working. Like, nah, you should chill. No, I don't want to. Like,
Right.
I watch E for church. Shout out to APOC. But that's well, I got to research for the podcast. You know what I mean? I got to do stuff. But you know, that's just me. I don't know.